Time is it? It's 4:22. Hola, 4:22. Yes, I had a consultation call and the time ran away from me. Hola, Auntie. Yes, I'm so sorry. Judith Grace, hola. So I'm sitting here on the patio. It's pretty nice. It's not so hot. And I was trying to think of a topic, and then someone said, talk about decluttering and things that we need to bring to Panama or not bring to Panama. It's like an hola, hey Greta. It's it's like more individualized because yesterday we were talking to a sister who's been here maybe a couple of months, and she was telling us all she brought with her. And she brought like multiple duffel bags with different things that she wanted to bring. And what she did that was nice and smart. She brought family members with her. So everybody had so many bags they were responsible for. And so that worked for her, right? And there was another sister yesterday who was saying that she's buying a house here, and the things that from her home, what she wanted to bring with her to be able to um, furnish her home here. And also, one of the sisters said, "Oh, I wanted so much to bring my bedroom set." Right? Good evening, Texas. Decluttering your house as you're speaking. Good for you. Took a break and there your podcast. There you go. We'll talk about decluttering. And I think there is someone, or maybe I have, I keep saying that I have a bunch of different forms and sheets, checklists that I want to put them on the main YouTube page so that you can go in there and just pick what you want. Of course, they're free for you to use. And when you're talking about decluttering, it's got to start over here. I say that as we get older, it should be easier for us to get rid of stuff, but it really isn't because your stuff is a reflection of you. And you and I know that it's taking time and money and energy for you to get your house to reflect your personality. I'm more of an eclectic. I don't like modern minimalist, nor do I like Victorian, old ornate. I'm kind of somewhere in between. And so when I'm looking for a piece of furniture, I'm always thinking about that. I remember my old house, there were some different pieces of furniture I handpicked because they spoke to me and they reflected my personality. I had a nice cherry looking, what would you call that, in my kitchen, and I bought it from like a Goodwill or someplace store because I knew it would fit. And of course, you have to always have your measuring tape with you. So you say, oh, that would look good in that little spot. And then I put it in there. I put my plates and stuff in there. I use it as shelving. And then it said it was like a TV console. I was like, oh, I'm not putting any TV. So, And then I remember I needed a dining room table. And in fact, my house, it was very quirky. We didn't have straight walls. Everything was at an angle. So I had a spot for a dining room. Oh my God, it took me a while to find a dining room that would fit in that particular space under the chandelier and the fan. Oh my gosh. So finally, I was able to find a table that was heavy, washed wood. It was very light. And when I ordered it from International Market, I don't know if you guys know that market, it was shipped to me in a box. And here I was by myself unboxing with my screwdrivers, and I put that whole table together by myself. But when I tell you I love that table, and then when I had to get rid of it, oh, listen, decluttering is an emotional roller coaster. I remember when I was a nurse, when we had a patient who was, or a resident, right, who had to have downsized rather quickly because of something happened, whether they had a spouse, or they became a widow, and then it was too much for them to handle. And when you took someone like that out of their beautiful home that was a reflection of them, their personality, that's where they had their family dinners, that's where they had their friends come and have tea. And all of a sudden, sometimes they have children from out of state to come and say, well, mom, you had this stroke, or you had a couple of falls, and you can't be by yourself, then we're going to have to close this in a hurry and move you into assisted living. That was traumatic for these people. When I tell you it was traumatic, so you're talking about taking someone out of a 3,000 square foot home and putting him in a small little room. Sometimes it's a studio. That is hard. That is hard. So if you're having to declutter because you're moving abroad, I think it's a little bit less of a shocker, but it's still, hola, Lacey, it's still not an easy proposition. What I suggest people do is, as you start being in your 50s, if you can adapt a minimalist mindset, it will take you far. It will make it less traumatic for you to start getting rid of stuff. Okay? What I'm talking about is your China. I remember, I think I was maybe 50 or 52 when I said, I'm not going to be doing Thanksgiving anymore. All this cooking and baking and stress. I said, that's too much. First of all, I said, you know what? I want to start a new tradition. I want to go on a cruise around Thanksgiving, or someone can invite me, I'll bring a dish. But in my circle, I was the one cooking. No one volunteered to have me over. So that was like, okay, we cut that one. So your China, you can start giving it to, if you have a child who's younger, who's into that, giving. I had a very flowery type of China, and of course I had this beautiful cabinet, and the stuff sat there. Do you ever use it? No. Why do we do these things? So when I put it on Facebook Marketplace, this lady drove 2 hours to come get the set because she was into doing teas. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect for you. But in your 50s, if you start kind of getting rid of some stuff, like your china, um, trim down your wardrobe. Trim down the wardrobe. Oh my God. Now, if you are in a position where you have to wear suits and stuff, but if you're not, get rid of them. Give them to a women's shelter. There are charities. Take inventory. Go in your closet. And the thing that they say, if you haven't used it in 3 months and you don't need it, that is a good mindset, because that's how we collect. When I started looking at my closet and I got rid of, 22, 30 t-shirts and skirts and pants, and you can only wear one set at a time, I counted 67 pairs of shoes and sandals. And I'm like, Who needs all that? You can only wear one pair at a time. Cut it down. So don't wait until you have to move to start decluttering. Declutter your kitchen. You don't need all the junk in those drawers that you clean and you put everything back in. And you know I'm a cook. Hola, Veronica Sakpase. You have a 9 bedroom. Oh my God. You're thinking of just leaving it behind. It's too much to sort. That is a lot. You know what you could do? A suggestion. Have a giveaway party. Invite your girlfriends and say, I need to declutter. You come here and take whatever you want. Now, you may have some pieces you like, not those. But everything else, come and take what you want. Clothing is gonna go, shoes, bags. Now, if you're one of those people who collects wigs, I said never, I don't collect wigs. Let them take some of that. Shoes, I mean, clothing, definitely. Any type of clothing, let's get rid of it. Go in your kitchen. You know how many little cups and tumblers and stuff you have? You don't need any of that. You don't need all that. So get boxes and make it a point to go to Goodwill once or twice a week and just dump some of that. All the different cups, cutlery, spoons and stuff. You only need one set. You don't need. If you have china, get rid of that. Go in your garage and see all the stuff you're collecting. You don't need all that stuff, sis. Now, if you have a 9 bedroom house and you have furnished it, yes. So the way to do it, that worked for me. I put a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I started with my patio furniture. I put a notice about, I had like a 6 chairs, long table. That one went fast. Then I had another wrought iron type of set. Those patio furnitures go fast, especially now. It's right before summer. People are looking. The other thing that I had my grill. That one went fast. Okay. So if you say I need to get rid of all that they're gonna buy those. Clothing is a little bit more difficult. I know it was difficult to sell my boots and everything, and then you had to give them real cheap. So I'd rather do have a party and tell my girlfriend, come and take what you want. And I remember I had a girlfriend and I said, come and take what you want. I mean, I had plates and stuff. She came and filled up her, she had like a van, right? If you have exercise equipment, you may want to keep those till, close to the end because you might want to use them. But anything that is a duplicate of something, you want to get rid of. But remember, it's a mindset. Can you tell yourself, can I live with only 10 pairs of shoes? Yes, you can. Yep, I do that. You can get your girlfriends to come, and trust me, they will take a lot of things away from you. If you have tea sets, let them take it. So I had my friend come and take whatever she wanted before I even put anything out. Then I had clothes. She took some of that. So it made the process a lot easier. But like I said, start decluttering in your head. How can I live a much simpler life? Anything that is duplicate, triplicate, get rid of it. Get rid of it. What do you need to live on? You can only wear one set of clothing each time you get dressed. You don't need 10 skirts. You don't need 30 t-shirts. Coats. How many coats do you need? If you live somewhere where it's still cold, like right now, you need a coat. A coat. How many pairs of boots do you need? Now, right now is a good time to get rid of that stuff because people are looking for it. Everything is seasonal. So think about the season and what people are looking for. Your tea set. Now, I tell people anything that you like that speaks to you, bring it. But if everything speaks to you, you're going to have a hard time. Now remember, you can always ship some of that stuff, but the cost of shipping sometimes is just as expensive as buying something new here, even though the quality is not the same. You hear that a lot, especially in electronics. I tell people, your computer, your camera, your phone, get those from stateside and then bring them. I was watching a couple. They were traveling somewhere in South America or Central America, and they were traveling by bus. And I have traveled by bus overnight. I was in Peru. I took a 23-hour bus ride to get to the city. They said they had their drone and their laptop in a bag that they checked in. What kind of thinking is that? You don't think people are watching you to see what you're bringing so that they can get it? And of course, they stole the bag because he had the laptop in the front pocket. No, your laptop should be on your carry on, inside your carry on, right? Your laptop, your camera, anything that is electronic needs to be with you, not checked in. No bueno. Okay? So, when you talk about things that are important to you, well, you may have a furniture set that was passed down to your grandmother. You want them to come and package this, you want to bring it with you? You can, but it's going to cost you. If you need, people say, like you say, your tea set, that is something that's fragile. How are you going to bring that? You use a company, and a lot of these companies, they charge you by the pallet, right? So one simple package, it may not make it here in one piece. I don't know. When I came with 3 suitcases, and it was mostly clothing. I debated a lot about bringing my knife. I had like a knife bag, and I went back and forth, back and forth. I wish I had brought it and brought less clothes. You don't need a lot of clothes here. Everybody is pretty comfortable, very casual, right? And you can buy anything for like $5, $7, $8. It is not expensive. What you need to bring are some nice, comfortable walking shoes and maybe a pair of black pump if you were to go somewhere at night. The little black dress, you need some of that. If you have a couple of sundresses, bring some of that. But when it comes to like casual, no, shorts are not very easy to find here, believe it or not. To bring some shorts. Even though I tell you, the dress code, women don't wear a lot of shorts here. When you in shorts, we know you're not from here. Because women, we wear skirts or jeans, not shorts. Okay? Um, People talk about Babancourt. Yes, you can bring some Babancourt. It would be like duty free. You can carry it duty free. I remember I was in what was that, Nice, France, and I was bringing some French wine. I don't know what I was thinking. I had the French wine in my backpack because I wanted to protect it. And of course, he's like, "No, madam, you can't put that." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "It's liquid." I'm like, "Oh, duh." So I had to find a way to really wrap this wine and put it in my suitcase. Thankfully, I think it was 2 or 3 bottles of wine. They were intact. But you know what? I can find wine in the US. I can find French wine. That's the kind of thing. So when I was coming, I should have brought my knives because that became a problem. I could not find knives that I liked. So I had to go back home into my cousin's garage where I had like a suitcase of things, and then I brought my knives with me. But don't have too many things that have sentimental value because then you end up paying a lot for the stuff that you want to bring. So I want to say start with duplication. Have a party with your girlfriend and have them. If you have a husband who has lots of tools and stuff, that's another thing people complain about. The guys complain about not being able to find their specialty wrench or whatever. You may want to pay to get these over, but just be ready. It's going to cost you. All right? Funeral homes for victims, women shelters, foster care, senior centers, churches. What are you talking about? Is it Greta? Rehab nursing home, or school for redesign. Are you saying, do we have those things here? I mean, I've heard of a few shelters for teenagers. I don't know that they have women's shelters. We know there is a home for teenage girls who've been abused. Um, Funeral homes are businesses, so they deal with us when, for our demise. I've seen a European couple, Sarah, wrap their suitcase smart. Yes, you finally caught alive. You tall. Oh, if you are 11, bring your shoes, sis. You're not going to find anything here that fits you. Veronica, bring your shoes and even your clothes because people are of small stature here. A little bit taller in Panama, but listen, if you go to Peru, anywhere in those South American states, Guatemala, Honduras, people are this big. So if they're this big, their clothes are this big, their shoes are small. I wear a 10 and I have a hard time finding shoes my size. So I say bring those with you. Oh, to donate stuff to. Some of the churches accept donations. Um, They have some consignment shops that will accept your donations, and they do have a few charities that accept donations. But when I was leaving for South Africa, I gave a whole suitcase of clothing, things that I kind of regret later on, certain shoes and stuff, because I came back early. But they will pick it up. They will get your stuff. Foster homes. Ooh, I don't know if they have that concept here. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just not aware. Okay. But there is a shelter for young girls. I know, and I know our group was trying to get involved in that with donations for them. There is a home somewhere in Cologne for abused children, but it's not as widespread as what you're familiar with. But you can donate because my friend who was leaving after 6 months, she gave me some of her stuff, but she had extra stuff. She researched, she found two places. One of them wasn't able to pick up, the other one she wanted me to ask them, can she put it in an Uber, and the Uber delivered it to the store, and that's what she did. Yeah, they said, oh yeah, you can do that. So she called the Uber, gave them the suitcase, and they delivered it to I think it was more like a consignment shop that accepted donations. But let's see for me how my decluttering went. Like I said, I had my friend come and take whatever she wanted. So I started to declutter in the kitchen. I'm a cook. So I started to get rid of my blenders, my food processors, and all the beautiful plates to serve Thanksgiving turkey and other thing. It's like I need to get rid of those. I sold my china that was very feminine, kind of rosé kind of type. It's like dainty for them to have tea. This lady drove and she got that. The furniture, I had to pace myself now, right? So my bedroom was the last on the list because you need to be able to still sleep, right? But the clothing, I went way down, kind of sold a lot of shoes and stuff. And like I said, I was in um, what is it? What's that place where you donate to? Salvation Army was the other one. It's not Salvation Army. Uh-huh. Yes, you can donate to them. In fact, I need to do a big declutter. I haven't done it yet. I've been talking about it, but you know, I'm finding that I have too many clothes in my closet. And I'm like, when did I start collecting? We have parties and stuff. It's like, oh, I need a new outfit for this. Next thing you know, I'm running out of hangers. That's when you know you're just going overboard a bit. It's very easy to do. Donate to those places at your home. You mean here in my building? This is the danger you're running into. If you want to donate stuff like that, ask around. If they have designated places, yes, but don't assume that somebody who works in your building would be open to accepting stuff like that. I don't know if that's what you meant, but we have to be careful about that, right? So I called and this lady came. She's like, "Oh yeah, we'll take it." She came. I took the elevator down and handed her the suitcase, and she walked away with it. But so clothing went. I decluttered the kitchen, all the pots and pans, and I remember I had an extra freezer in my garage. So I kept asking around, would anybody want a freezer? It turns out my cousin or my auntie, I don't know what I call her, she's like, yeah, we'll take it. So they had somebody come and take it. I had a piano in the house. Oh my God. So I put that in the Facebook marketplace, Goodwill. Thank you. And this person came and he wanted to buy the piano for his little son who was learning. But it was great. But moving the piano was not easy because I'm like, you have to hire a truck to come get the piano, and you have to have a dolly that the legs are gonna go to dolly. Then you gotta, oh my God, it was such a hard thing. And I was worried that we were gonna break a leg of the piano. But finally, with me helping, pushing, we got it on the truck. And then when he got to his house, he took a picture and sent it to me. I'm like, oh. So that was the first thing to go with my piano. The living room furniture, Facebook Marketplace was gone fast. Television, I had a hard time selling the. I had like a medium-sized TV, maybe because it was old. I had a hard time selling, so I just put that in a box for Goodwill and took it. All the pots and pans and all the cups I had collected, Goodwill. Um, some things for the kitchen, like placemats or table covers and cauldry and coffee maker. You still need it towards the end. You don't want to get rid of everything and then you kind of you have to go get a cup of coffee else. Oh, timing is really a challenge for these things. So the living room, yeah, I didn't need to do that. So I kind of watch my schedule and see when will it be okay if I get rid of the dining room. Where am I going to sit? I can eat sitting on the floor, right? And let's see what else. Like I said, patio furniture went first, then the kitchen declutter, friends party, a giveaway party. Um, the other thing that went to Goodwill were all the extra towels and sheets and stuff like that. You kept the bare minimum for you until the end, and the rest of it went to Goodwill. Um, and you also try to declutter underneath your sink with all the stuff. One error I think a lot of women like me make. There was a lady who said she brought like a suitcase full of hair products. And I'm like, first of all, you're gonna trigger somebody looking at this stuff at the airport thinking maybe you're trying to make something out of something else. And what you don't want to do is to grab attention, right? So I don't think you need to do that. They have some product here. Of course, it's not the same, but that is part of the adjustment, right? Any recommendations of a reputable shipping company that ship? Oh, we have so many. If you have so many, let's see. Okay, I probably can go into one of my. We have a. Let's see. We have a resource guide. Let me see. Um, Logistics, they call them. Mm, all right. Okay. I think, if you send me an email, put my email here, and then I'll send it to you. It's big business here because you have some companies that it is their business to move people from, let's say, Europe or South Africa to here. And some of them will even come to your house, pack everything, tight, ship it, and then bring it here and they'll deliver it to your house. Okay, so I'll put my email in here. Send me an email and then I'll send it to you. So this friend of mine, she said she wanted to bring her stuff with her. So she brought not just suitcases, she had these big duffel bags and she put her stuff in it, her hats, her shoes and things like that, you know. And of course, none of this is free. You're still paying the airport, right? Remember that. They're in storage already. Oh, okay. Well, they'll have to go to the storage and get them out. Well, that's their job. They may charge you to do that, to take them out um, and then send them and ship them. But if you talk to, you listen to Stephanie Perry or Rashida Dow, they're going to tell you we don't recommend that you ship all this stuff. I know somebody who said she had to bring her books. I get it, right? And then some people come here though, and then they buy new furniture and they do all kinds of stuff. Remember, most of the apartments here are furnished. So you're going to have, uh, the bare minimum beds, maybe not the sheets, not the sheets. You probably wouldn't want the sheets though. Beds, a living room furniture, a couch, maybe some chairs, maybe a dining room table and chairs, and then you're gonna have to make it your own. You're gonna have to go shopping for like sheets. I've told people if you have some nice bedding, towels, bring them with you because sometimes the quality is not the same. It took me a while to find a store where you can find decent sheets because a lot of things are kind of really barato, kind of cheap, so the quality may not be the same. So I say bring some hair product, bring some, maybe, a couple of sheets. You don't have to bring the whole closet, right? Two or three sheet sets that are nice, and you can buy new ones if you'd like, and then have a suitcase just for that. So if you bring three suitcases, you're going to pay for two. You only allow, they just limiting. So whatever you bring, either in your suitcase or you're paying freight, it's going to cost you. So as I said, I came here with three suitcases and I wish I had come with one because all the clothes I thought I would need, you don't need sweaters. You might need a light wrap if you go somewhere late in the evening to a party or something. But there is no place to wear sweaters, jackets. You need like some rain gear during the rainy season. But, and shoes, I told you, good walking shoes, maybe a couple of sandals if in the summer you want to look cute, maybe a couple of sundresses. The rest of it, you can find a lot of it here. All right. So take care of your sunglasses and your eyeglasses and all that. Make sure you get your eyes checked, your hearing done, your teeth clean right before you come. Because after that, you can come here once you get settled and you ask people, then they'll give you recommendations. Okay. I have loads of questions. First one is about to. Oh, Lord, who is that? Oh, all right. Somebody's trying to be funny. Let's see. Now, in terms of pots and pans in the kitchen, those I don't believe I was able to sell. Those were going to Goodwill. And then I did keep maybe a saute pan and then one deep pan, and the rest of it I gave so that I was doing one potters for the rest of the time that I had. But like I said, a minimalist mindset is something that you start early on before you have to retire. And then you go down to like maybe five pairs of shoes. You go down to maybe a couple of sheet sets. You have one on the bed and another one, in the washer. Now, for the person who has 9 bedroom, yeah, it's going to take you longer. But you can sell a lot of that stuff, okay? Because Facebook Marketplace did really well for me. And then people come and then they bring cash, so you don't have to worry about it. And I live in a subdivision, a gated community, so I didn't want them unless it was something they had to carry to come to my place. I had, pots and planters and stuff like that. I would say, I'll meet you in the parking lot of Dunkin' Donuts. And then that's where I did a lot of the transaction. If they did not have to come to my home, because you're kind of expose yourself to having strangers know where you live, and you have to be careful about that. Now in the kitchen, I had a, what do we call those? Uh, the counter centerpiece. Mm, I don't know what you call it, but this lady came with a couple of teenagers. By the time I was talking to you, now they were already finished. Took it away. My dining room table, they came with I said, bring your tools. Took the legs and stuff up. They brought a truck, gone. All the chairs and stuff, gone. In the living room, the couch went really fast. The TV console went. Um, if you had any kind of chairs, they went. Mm, like I said, the TV went to Goodwill. Bathroom, oh wow. And again, you're going to declutter your makeup, You don't need 20 things to put on your face. Start decluttering there. You need a good cleanser, a moisturizer, and you should be good to go. And then, so again, you want to declutter your face and how you present yourself out there to the world. You don't need 10 different layers of things one after another. Same thing with your hair. Like right now with my hair, you know how when I first got here, I don't know, not but when I first got here, I was looking for a certain brand, Contour or whatever brand that I was used to. If you keep that mindset that you want an American brand, you're gonna pay. But if you say I just need a shampoo, well, we know not every shampoo is appropriate for our hair. So sometimes you have to pay a little bit. And people bring some with them, right? That way it's not, you don't have to compromise too much. But for my scalp and my hair, you used to get the pomade or, but now I just use rosemary oil. I make rosemary oil with rosemary, cloves, and um, what is it? Bay leaves. You slowly use coconut oil or grapeseed oil, and then once it's finished cooking, you let it sit. Then you drain it in a container, and that's what I use for my scalp and for my hair. Then I don't have to worry about buying anything. People saying this lady saying a whole suitcase of product, and I'm thinking that's money because you know that natural hair thing was just becoming out of control with the prices. I was like, oh my god. Mm-mm. And here the ladies have twists and other things, so that's another thing that they're finding. There's a guy from Atlanta who opened an Afro store. He calls it Afro Queen, and then he sells, the fake hair and all that. But he also has locals working, so they do braids and twists and other things. But that stuff is pricey, so I kind of like my natural hair. I don't have to worry about it. Like I said, the amount of money I calculated I had spent over the years on this hair, I could have bought another house or two. Yes. But when you see them break something apart and then carrying it out, you feel like a part of you is being taken. That's the emotional part that you have to say, well, it's for my good. I really need to, you know, go down on just all this junk and stuff that I own. Yes, ma'am. It's not easy. Not easy. Let's see what else was a challenge for me. My clothes, my suits that I had been keeping from. I wasn't using suits right before I came, no. But it was like, oh, I look good in that. But you can't use it now. Or you're waiting to lose that 40 pounds to use it, and you know you're not going to lose no 30 pounds, right? Okay. So making up your mind and giving away most of the stuff is going to take you for a spin. Yep. Um, but as I was getting closer to my departure, my car was a big concern. And I think I mentioned that, I don't remember in which video, what I did with my car. I had a lease that was coming up, but I still had like another year to go before I retired. So it was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to go on another lease and sign another lease. And then you can buy a car, but the car depreciates the moment it walks off the lot. So you're going to start losing money. But I found this subscription program that Volvo was doing, and that's how I got a brand new Volvo SUV. I think I drove it for 9 months to a year, and then I turned it in. So that worked out for me because it was a big headache. Because you need a car, you can't really depend on Uber for everywhere. Uber was super expensive. So for me, I took the car in the day before I was supposed to travel. Then I Ubered back home. The next day I Ubered back to the airport, and voila. But I told you my bed was the last one to go. Of course, it's a set, right? I had a California king size bed with a nice pillow top. Oh my gosh. When I got in that bed, but I don't have that here. So when I waited to the last minute to post my bed, they came right away. They find a lot of full and queen, but king size is rare, especially for somebody to try to sell it. So they came. I think it was a husband and two brothers, and just took that apart. Then they were carrying the mattress out, and I was like, oh, they're really taking it. Oh, they're really taking it, because the house was, by that time, was almost empty. No kitchen furniture, no living room furniture. The bathrooms were kind of bare, so I got rid of plants and pots and patio furniture, all of that. But when that bed left, I felt like, okay, this was real, right? And I had a whole like week or two to go. I ended up sleeping in my closet on the floor for the next few days. You do what you got to do, because it was like, I don't want to run the risk of not being able to get rid of this bed, because the house was going to be uh, rented out. And I did not want to rent it with my furniture. It's like, I don't know. I just don't want somebody to sleep in. That's why I see people have Airbnbs, and then it's their home too. I don't know how you do that. That's a no bueno for me, right? So I wanted the house to be empty, and then I had to get with the cleaning crew to come and do a deep clean, the carpeting and everything. Actually, at that time, I was listing the house for sale. So I definitely needed to get it tip top shape. The good thing for me is that my cousins and aunties are like a few miles away from me, and she has a big house, and I had places to stay if I needed to. So that wasn't a concern. But staying in the house until they took the bed was my decision. I had a cooler. No, I had a freezer in the garage. I had to get rid of that. I had the refrigerator. My cousin took it into her garage. And in my garage, I also had things for my restaurant when I sold the restaurant. Lots of uh, packages to go, cups and boxes and stuff. Had to get rid of all that. And I remember for that, you tell people, I have this stuff, and if you know anybody who's looking, and she knew somebody who was just getting started in the restaurant. I think it was my cousin. She said, he'll come and take a look and see what he wants. So I opened the garage. He comes and looks around. He said, I don't know how much he said. He said, I'll give you this much for all of it. I'm like, sold. Just come get it all. I had some cabinets in my garage. I had some shelving from my restaurant that were real nice. Got rid of that. Steppers. I had ladders. All this stuff. I had a nice uh, grass cutter lawnmower that went, and all the stuff that you had. And I did a garage sale. I don't recommend garage sale because it's too much work and not enough. Mm-mm. I did one. I sat there, from 6:30. You know how they come in rush, and then by 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock, somebody comes and said, "Okay, I'll give you $5 for all the rest of it." So I'm like, no, I don't recommend garage sales. I guess it depends on where you are, but where I'm at, in my subdivision, you weren't allowed to just do garage sale. They only had them at certain times of the year. That's when you do it. So that didn't work for me. Nope. So I slept in my closet in the clothes closet from the master bedroom. Oof, that was not comfortable. I could not get comfortable. I did not have an inflatable bed. It was just putting like a blanket. My body. No bueno. I should have stayed at my cousin. That's what I should have done because I still had the car and I was driving. So try not to do things that gonna stress you out. Um, and personally, I would say don't bring a lot of stuff, but people will do what they want to do, and I got nothing to say about that. If you said this is my grandmama's table or whatever, I gotta take it with me. Gotta take it with you, sis. But just know that it will gonna cost you. All right? Because there's a minimum with some of these companies to take with you. So if you say I only have this small box or whatever, they may not take the case. You may have to find a way to ship it to the address in Miami, and then they're gonna bring it over this way. hmm Let's see anything else. And I think the mail forwarding is very important to do. If you sign up with a mail forwarding company here in Panama, you can do that online. Then they'll tell you like mailbox, etc. Mailbox, etc. is very prominent here. You sign up online, you get all your sign on, your password, and then they will assign you an address in Doral, uh, Florida, which is in South Florida. So when you go to the post office, you do a mail forwarding to that address in South Florida, and then that company knows that anything that comes to that address belongs to you. Some of them will have an option for you to review online, and you could say keep or trash, right? But if there's anything that you want to keep, like new credit cards or new insurance card and stuff like that, then they will bring it to you over here. Electric was tricky, right? Because you don't want to say turn it off now, and you don't do any of that until you know for sure your date, your departure date, right? Um, so make sure if you had any deposits that you would get that back. But if the house is listed, like my house was, I had to keep the thing on, the AC and the electric. So I was still responsible for it up until, if the house sells and the new owners are gonna sign up for their own account. The internet, you needed internet too, so you don't want to get rid of it until probably the day of your departure. Yep. Let's see what else. Cable TV, same thing. Um, and I think the other thing too that's very important to do is to keep talking to your family and friends as you go into the process, so that you don't wake up one day and say, "Ah, see ya," right? You want to prepare them mentally and emotionally for you leaving, even though a lot of them don't really believe you're going to do it. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll just wait and see," right? And then when you say, "Okay, I'm just telling you I travel tomorrow, I won't see you for a while," they're like, "Oh my God, you really did it." Yes, yes, yep. It's crazy. And then you're gonna have these moments of panic. And you're like, am I really, really doing this? Right. Yes. So the self-talk, talking to yourself. Yeah, it's for the best. Yes. You're gonna be eating nice, fresh food. Yes. Yep, they don't believe that you're gonna do it. But I think it's important to every so often, periodically, just remind them, I'm decluttering and I'm like, close to the finish line, and see what they say. You can't force people to believe what you say, right? So They don't want to believe. They don't want to believe. All right. Anything else, guys? Yeah. If you have a big house, you don't want to wait till the last month to start decluttering. It'll be too much. It will be too much too fast. You need your body to have time to adjust to the change, right? We are creatures of habit. It took us years to create a space for us. And then for you to leave it cold turkey is emotionally challenging. Well, I've heard people say you should keep your house in the US. They don't, you should always have like some place to land if something happens. I don't know. I don't I know I tried to sell mine and it wouldn't, so we still have it. So, any other questions, guys? Question, alguna pregunta? Okay. Didn't see anybody on Facebook, but I will send you this a couple of logistic companies, and they will move you from one place to another seamlessly. White gloves, right? That means they will bring the stuff to your home and not just leave it, by the elevator or outside. Yep. Yeah, people won't believe you. And then if you have those who are against you leaving or are giving you attitude about leaving, they're adding to your stress. So what we say is that you try to have a one-on-one and explain. Not that you're looking for their approval, but you're trying to understand to give them, the capacity to accept what is about to happen. Um, but even with some hand holding and talking, some of them are totally against it and they're giving you the cold shoulder and then they're giving you attitude. This is where you like, well, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. So you can be happy for me, great. If you can't be happy for me, let's just leave it as that, right? And you just hope that time is a great healer. I don't I don't think I had any issues. And if I did, I would not have owned it, right? If somebody has a problem with the plan I am making for my life, I don't know what else to tell you. It's my life, right? So you can accept it, which is great, but if you don't accept it, it's still great. The sun still rises. Yes. Yes. So, if there's any questions, anything else you think I have not covered, um, the drawers, in your kitchen and other places could be a challenge. So, but it's like you took everything out and then you're like, but I might need this, I might need this, I might need that. Yep. I know there are some things that I did bring, like a good can opener is something they suggest that you bring. Um, Good knives, yes, knives specifically. Um, your espresso machine for your coffee, or uh, the Keurigs people bring. Um, the air fryer, you don't have to bring it. They have air fryer here. Did you limit who you told? Well, I didn't tell everybody, only those who needed to know. It's not something that you want to advertise. So, I mean, colleagues, and well, I wasn't working at the time, but I was teaching at the time. So I had to tell my dean, I'm like, after this semester, I'm not coming back. She was heartbroken. But, you got to tell the truth. But if somebody is not in your life and they don't need to know, you don't have to tell them. Only those with need to know access to you, right? So it is what it is. And some will dance for you, some will be happy, not dance, some will be happy for you, and some won't. So you're like, well, I'm sorry you feel this way, but this is the best decision for me. I was hoping you'd be happy for me, but I get it. I get it, right? Yeah. And I know some people, even after moving here, they're still having issues with some siblings or friends. That's sad because it's not really about them, it's about you. And if somebody loves you, they want what's best for you, even if they don't understand it. So, but what you could do also is donate some stuff to them. That will soften them up. If you had a favors bag, they were always talking about, let them have it. And then they'll have something to remember you by. A memento. Yes. Whew. Anything else? All right. Well, ladies and gents, if you don't have any further questions, I am going to sign off. I'm glad someone suggested the decluttering, but now I'm going to do a declutter. I want to declutter my kitchen. I think the other day I threw away like 8 knives. A lot of them I have been trying to get one that kind of mimic or look like the one that I have, my chef's knife. And I could not. So every time I say, "Oh, how about this one?" It was terrible. So I need to declutter my kitchen here, and I try not to pile on too many gadgets. That's why I say I don't have an air fryer. I don't have place for it. I don't need it. Um, I had to break down and buy a little coffee maker. That's good. I have a blender. As you've heard me say, I'm not a fan of that particular brand, but I don't think she can, I'm not going to do any of that. So I don't want gadgets. But the clothing department, I have to downsize. And I was like, why? Why do I have that many clothes again? So, yep. All right. All right, ladies and gents. If there are no further questions, I will sign off. You're welcome. You are very welcome. All right. I will see you next time, guys. Please send me an email asking about that logistical company, and I'll be glad to share. All right. Good night. Au revoir. Yes. Nos vemos.